For over 20 years, I've dedicated my life to bringing you the very best selling, marketing, and business building strategies to keep your business thriving. Get ready to experience the success you've been searching for. Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Today, I want to talk to you quickly about how to go deeper, right? How to get a deep level of rapport and understanding as to why your customers are taking action, or perhaps why they're not. Has there ever been a time when you had deep levels of rapport with a client where you just felt like you knew exactly what was going on inside their head, and you know in their heart of hearts why they're making decisions, why they're doing what they're doing? Well, if you've experienced that before, I'm going to give you a process to be able to do it every time. On the flip side, has there been a time in your selling career where someone said, I want to buy a house, and you're showing them houses and they're writing offers and the offers are stupid and they're just not getting accepted, but you don't know why? Well, I can tell you, my friends, it's because you didn't have the process to really understand what was truly important to them and then help them with their values make good choices. Does that make sense? So what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about going deeper. We know that people sell for a lot of reasons and people buy for a lot of reasons. We've all heard that before, but maybe you haven't heard that reasons are actually values. It's what they value about homeownership. It's what's important to them about selling, about buying, about selecting a real estate professional, about the community they want to live in, or the reason they want to buy that new house. There is a process I learned many moons ago that has just simply allowed me to get deeper and connected with everyone I choose to work with, so I know their real motivation. So let's go through it together. You ready? You want to discover people's values through what we call the value elicitation set, the value elicitation questions. Now, the questions are very easy. What's important to you about buying a home, right? How is buying a home important to you? And so ultimately, what will all of this do for you? So the scripting side is very easy. Where it gets tricky is when you're asking people to move beyond the superficial level of why they're buying a house or what's important to them in a real estate agent. When you're asking them to go deeper into their value set, you can't do it like this. What's important to you about buying a home? You have to engage them. It's like old school rapport, right? Eye contact, but you can't be Sterolina. You know what I mean? Giving people their space, listening and not relating. So when you ask a question and they start sharing their reasons, you actually just shut up, listen, take notes specifically on their exact language. The words that people use, if you use different words to interpret their message, you break rapport and they won't go deep. You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever done that before where the client says, I really want a this, and you're like, oh yeah, of course, everybody wants a that. And in their mind, they're like, no, I just wanted this. Like, they call it this word, you call it something differently, you break rapport, and they're not going to go deeper. They're not going to trust you to answer these questions. Does that make sense? So I want to be clear. Ready? Good eye contact and or over the phone, good pacing, right? Good tonality, staying in their rate of speech. If they're fast talkers, you go fast. If they're slow talkers, you slow things down. It's all good. You with me? Staying in the basics of rapport and then truly caring about the answers. So question number one is I say, so you guys are looking to buy a house and I've already built rapport. We've kind of had some conversations and we're talking about where they want to go. And I say, it's important for me to really understand who you guys are. Tell me, what's most important to you in buying a home? What's most important to you in buying a home? And you know what? They're going to say things like, it's a place to raise our family, I'm tired of the commute. They're going to give you still, at that second level, kind of some superficial answers, the obvious answers. We want to buy a home, we're tired of renting, and you hear some of this stuff, and unfortunately, what most amateurs do is they take that information and say, that's enough, and now I'm going to go out and write offers and go show property. Pros, we go deeper. We say, tell me more about that. Well, the commute's just been rough on my family. It's the time I don't get to see with my kids, and I'm spending, 90 minutes each way driving back and forth. Is that different from their original answer just because I said, tell me more about that? And I said it like, tell tell me more about that. Like, I really want to know, like, help me understand you, right? So I do the right thing for you. People want to share these things with people like you and I because we care, right? We really want to help them. So you go deeper by saying, what's important to you about buying that home? What's important to you about selecting an agent? Tell me more about that. They go deeper. Then I ask, so, spending more time with your kids and, not having that commute, and, having a place to call home that you're no longer renting, how is all this important to you? And then they start to really open up. Wow, I never really thought about it. I think it's, I think about I was raised by a single mom, and, she worked all the time and she was gone all the time, and we moved from apartment to apartment. They start sharing those kinds of things with you, and that, my friends, that's going deeper. You with me on this? And once again, you got to shut up. You got to listen. You got to listen to the language. You got to stay present with them. And I always take notes, and I tell people I'm a note taker, and I'm jotting things down, keywords, etc. Always wanted to use their language patterns, their pace, their tone, their tempo. And then I ask the last question. So ultimately, what will all of this do for you guys? Ultimately, what will all this do? I've asked these questions to tens of thousands of people in individual sessions, right? Helping understand their real values as to why they're motivated to act. And this is where you hear the real reasons. All of a sudden the buyer says, I really want to buy a home to honor my mom. Like, she did everything for me. And all of a sudden you discover that it's not the traffic, it's not the fact that they want to be with their kids, though they do. The deepest level of motivation suddenly is honoring their mom, who did everything for them. Now, let me ask you a question. If you knew that information about a buyer, about a seller, by the way, about your spouse, about your teammates, about the people you love most, would you understand a little bit more about how they tick? Could you help them write a better offer? Could you help them choose the right agent? Could you help them do the right thing? Could you do it? I know the answer is yes. So for today, go deeper. Figure out what people's real reasons are, their values behind buying, their values behind selling, and watch what happens. Remember always, your strategy matters, and now more than ever, going deeper absolutely rules. Hey, thanks so much for watching. We have a number of events coming up, and we'd love to have you there. Visit tomferry.com/events and reserve your spot today.